I just might be in your hood.
Fuck out of here, man. You dumbass niggas. You niggas is silly out here trying to look cute and shit, man.
I
Don't
just
play, man.
might
This
be
shit's
in your
serious, bro. Niggas wanna come and talk to me about all this dumb shit.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy King and Mike, aka Little Fella, checking in, man. You see the title. So this this video, I'm gonna sit here and talk about what happened to me my very first time since I've been here at LandStar. I started back probably like the end of February. I came through after I went through the extensive process of the application. Anybody that fill out the application at LandStar know it takes a few weeks for the process. I mean, if yours got done quicker, good for you. But the average Joe took about 3 weeks. Mine took like a month, and a lot of it was because of LandStar. What they do is when they go through the application process, they do everything in order, like everything in order. Like you could have the eggs and the toast, you know what I'm saying? Don't mean they're gonna give you they cheese or or they're gonna grill it for you, you know what I mean? They're not gonna they ain't gonna help you out on that one. They do everything step by step. But anyway, scratch all that. So I started LandStar, close to the end of February, did my first load, and ever since then, my first load was my worst load. My first load started in Denver, Colorado, for those who see my earlier videos. And the very first load, I actually had a partner of mine that works here at LandStar. He helped me or connect me with an agent that's, runs that area pretty much. Anybody ever pull a beer load out of there, out of Denver, this is the agent, this is who I got in contact with. And anybody knows that they loads don't pay much, and if they do, it's rare. You know what I'm saying? It's been sitting there for a while. Nobody ain't touched it yet. So my first load was my worst load, was my cheapest load. I ain't had a load like that since. All my loads been good. I mean, I took a couple loads that was below average. We're talking like $1.60. I had loads like that, but then again, I was in Florida. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, I ain't never had a bad load. Like all my loads been pretty square. Once I booked them, once I got the confirmation of like the way that mine's is set up, I don't know everybody's like that the same way. It's, they get your name, they get your email, your trailer number, and if you want to pick your own appointment, or if it's appointment based, like it's already set, or if it's first come first served, blah 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 blah, you square the rate out, the breakdown, you know what I'm saying, negotiate whatever you got to do, and then boom, you get a text message on your phone, LandStar such and such agent code, put a load been assigned to you, and then 10 minutes later, up to 10 minutes later, boom, you get the email about the rate confirmation and the pickup and all that. So once I get all that, all I do is go to the place, show up, give them the pickup number, get loaded, I'm out. Get to the delivery, same thing. Had a couple sketchy pickups, had a couple sketchy deliveries. That's about it. Nothing too major. I mean, we're talking about backing in space or location or, GPS issues. Like I say, it's right here, but it's really down the street. Maybe had that happen to me once or twice. But this has not happened to me yet until recently. So I'm going to tell you a story. So I was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This was a long week. So by the time I got to Baton Rouge, it was Thursday. And I originally delivered in Baton Rouge Wednesday. But I had a couple issues happen to me. Like I had the wheel cover, the wheel covers that usually be on the front of the drive axle on the tractor that, keeps debris from hitting the wheel. Like this truck, I got it so old, or it ain't been washed so thoroughly, it dry rotted off when I was going down the highway. Like I was literally on crunch time getting to Baton Rouge, like 2 hours away in Mississippi, and it rotted off. Next thing you know, I started seeing chunks of rubber come off the truck. I'm like, what the heck? So I pulled into the rest area. Luckily there's a rest area like right where it happened at. And I got out, and sure enough, it shredded one of my good drive tires, virgin, everything. Just shredded it. And I'm like, man, you know what? Let me call, there's a little tire spot, nearby, maybe like 20 minutes away, 20 miles away, however you want to say it. And I hit them up and say, like, how long is your road service is going to take? You know what I'm saying? They was like, oh, it'll take about 60 to 90 minutes. I didn't have that. I literally did not have that time. Like, I was literally... All right, here's the scenario case. I had 11 a.m. appointment to deliver. My ETA was 11:30, and these people closed at 2:30 on a Thursday. And if you didn't get there by 2:30 Thursday, they didn't open Friday. They were closed on Fridays. So you see my dilemma. So mind you, 2 hours away. And he's talking about 60 to 90 minutes. Anybody that been in that situation know, like, man, I gotta make this load. Like, I'm not about to be stuck down here till Monday. That ain't happening. Ain't happening. I'm sorry. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Yeah, it went out of focus for that because it ain't happening. So, I had to make a decision. I mean, it was still safe enough to drive, more or less. Just had to take it easy. You know what I'm saying? I had to dog leg it. I dog legged 20 miles an hour. I had my flashers on. I was going like 45 miles an hour. I got there, right? I got there to the tire shop. When I did get there, I had to wait behind like 2 or 3 trucks. And I'm like, how long is this going to take, man? How long is this really going to take? Guy going to tell me like probably about an hour and a half. I'm like, okay. I said, well, 60 to 90 minutes for road service plus them putting the tire on. And then, I was like, man, I'm going to lose 2 hours either way, which would put my ETA closer to 2 o'clock. Wait, yeah, put my ETA closer to 2 o'clock. So I'm like, man, we're really pushing it because they closed at 2:30. So thankfully, luckily, they got me in there. They swapped the tire out, took the other wheel color off because it was sure about to dry rot too and fall off. So I caught it off because, DOT, they'll write you a ticket if you got one wheel cover but not the other one. So I took both of them off. So now we good to go. We good to ride, whatever. I get to this place, luckily, and when I got there, I noticed that I was losing air, like quickly, like really quick, like if I were to get caught at a red light and put my foot on the brake and set the red light, before it turns green, my low air buzzer come on. Like, that's how fast it was draining. You can hear the audible air leak inside the cab. I thought it was the valve inside the cab. So I had to put up with this, like, until I got empty. And it had to have me slide my tandems, which, if you have a major air leak like that, you got to slide tandems. That is just a pain. But I got through it. I got through it, YouTube. I got through it. I slid them tandems, backed into that one of them ramps where it kind of dipped down. I hate those ramps. I hate them. I hate ramps like that. So I got to the ramps that dipped down and got empty, of course. It didn't take them long. Got out the door, slid the tandems. I went to there was a trailer shop on the same street I delivered to. I called them to see if they can do something about my tractor, you know what I'm saying? And they said they didn't have to park, but they said there's a truck stop 3 miles down the street. It's one of them casino truck stops in Baton Rouge. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So I go over there. Mind you, it's Thursday. I go over there, get checked in. I walked in. Hey, somebody look at my truck. They tell me, hey, man, it might be a problem. I'm like, why? All our mechanics are currently on projects to try to get them out the shop because we're not open tomorrow. A lot of people closed on Friday. What the hell going on? I knew what was going on. Saturday was a holiday. So everybody wanted to close early Thursday or not come in Friday or whatever the case is because of it. Which is going to segue into my story of what this title is about. So... what happened was the mechanic came out. The boss came out, and he looked at it, and it's actually, right behind the tractor, there's a red line, a blue line, and the electrical line. Come out the tractor, not the one going into the trailer. Come out the tractor. Well, the one on the red line, the valve right there was purging air for I don't know what reason. It might have had to do with the wheel cover coming off, and it might have hit that or before it shredded the tire. I didn't know what it looked like before it happened. So he sat there and said, well, let me see if I have the part. He said, what's one thing? You got to see if I have the part. So he went inside, checked, probably took him about not even 5 minutes. He came back out. He said it was a female to female. He said, yep, I got that part. He said, now the problem is getting somebody to put it on. As the receptionist already told you, I got all my mechanics on projects. So I'm sitting here like, man, come on, y'all close tomorrow. I'm trying to get out of here. You know, blah, 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 blah. Talk to him, you know what I'm saying? He was a pretty cool guy. You know, he was like, you know, I'll work on myself. Which he did. He worked on it himself. So I pulled it in the shop. They took it off, put the new valve on. And while he was doing that, he was explaining to me, he said, sometimes it might be the brake chamber. You might have a brake chamber on the trailer. And it's coming back to there, you know what I'm saying? That could be the situation. I'm thinking to myself, like, well, the wheel cover came off, it shredded the tire. I don't know what it did after that. So if it did something to the trailer, I didn't notice it. So we looked around the trailer, we tried it, we tested, we did the air check like you do in your pre-trip. We did the air check. We didn't hear nothing come out, purging out the trailer at all. So he went and changed the part, put it back together, tried it again. Voila, air leak gone. We good to go. Cause I feel like I couldn't get nowhere or get out of that area until I got the issue fixed. You know, that's easily out of the service, you know. So I got it fixed. Now I had to find some place to park for that night because now, as you know, I delivered at 2:30. This whole shop ordeal took about an hour and a half. So now it's about 4. And the low board usually dies down around that time, especially Central Time. I mean, East Time is pretty much dead. Especially in an area like Baton Rouge. I could see if it's Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago, you know, something like that, but it wasn't that area. So I parked somewhere nearby for the night, wherever the case is. There was a load on the board that night, and I was trying to get to Dallas. I was trying to actually get to the yard, and it was a load picking up in Louisiana, probably about, it was going en route, and it was delivering Dallas for that Monday. It didn't pay that much. It paid like $800, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, that distance is only like 300, maybe close to 400 miles. So you do the math. So it was a pretty okay load. It was a load of tires, 35,000 pounds. And the guy actually, the broker, I didn't talk to him until Friday morning. I didn't even call Thursday. I just saw that amongst other loads. I was trying to figure out what I'm gonna do to get to Dallas. You know what I'm saying? A lot of loads that I saw going to Dallas, I missed them because I had got nervous to whether or not I was gonna make it to this delivery. And I didn't want to book something and then I couldn't pick it up Thursday because it was too far away, or they closed at 4 and I didn't have enough time. I ain't gonna book nothing to pick up Friday because I'm just like, man, I did a tire blew. So, you know, you get that ordeal where, you know, you can't, it's, you know, for the guys that plans their whole week out and stuff like that, this is the kind of stuff you can't account for. Like, you can plan your whole week out, get good breaks, and you can move, knock them out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then boom, you have a mechanical issue. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it takes. You know what I'm saying? That's all it takes. And then you got to call brokers and cancel loads, or you got to see if you can get it fixed, or you can even keep the load, or if it got to be repowered. It's a whole process. Plus, you lose your load, especially if it was a good paying rate, you're going to be pissed. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're trying to add your money up a certain way like I do. Like me, I make sure I make a certain minimum a week. Once I make that minimum a week, then however else I make the rest of the week, however I do it, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? That's how I do it. So, now we're in Friday. So, I called the load, I called that broker, nobody answered. I called a different load going to somewhere else in Texas that was kind of off, but you know, it still would have had me in Dallas that, you know, for the weekend, and they didn't answer. So like, nobody answered their phone, you know what I mean? So then I started considering, like, man, I'm about to day head back to Dallas. I might as well start looking for a reload out of Dallas Monday. That way, you know, at least I already got me, you know, I ain't got to look Monday for Monday. You know, I'm looking Friday for Monday. Another problem was I needed fuel. Fuel car was low. It was empty, man. It was low on dollars and coins. It really was. About to play the lotto to see if I got lucky. You know what I mean? So I had to book something in order to get a cash advance to put fuel in the truck. So that was my whole dilemma. Like, I couldn't just say I'm going to go deadhead back to Dallas. I didn't have no fuel in the truck, and I didn't have no load on me. So I had to book something. Next thing you know, broker calls me, the one Louisiana to Texas. He was like, yeah, did you call me? I was like, yeah, I'm calling about a load, such and such, you know, what's going on? He said, oh, that's not available right now. He said, that's already covered. But he said, you know what? I'll call you back if anything changes. You know, brokers usually say something like that. Let me call you back. Let me call you back. Don't ever let them call you back. It's very seldom. I might have had 2 brokers out of all the loads I ever booked call me back. You know what I mean? But I like whatever. Got off the phone. 30 minutes later, he called back. He really did. He called back. He said, "Well, would you still be available for the load?" He said, "I got a driver that's on right now," and he said he's not answering his phone. You know what I'm saying? This is really bad. Blah 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 blah. He said, "If you can be at the pickup at 1 p.m. on Friday, 2 p.m. on Friday, you know, you think you can do it?" I said, "Yeah, I could do it." You know what I'm saying? You call me. I called Ax to see if it's available or not, you know. Yeah, no. He said, "It's available." He said, "I'm going to take them off the load and I'm going to give it to you. You know, you got my truck number, trailer number, email, whatever." He said, give me some time to work on this and let me get things situated first, and then it'll be yours." I said, "Okay, cool." So this conversation happened about maybe 9 o'clock that morning. Next thing you know, 2-3 hours go by. It's literally like noon. So I'm like, okay. Now my phone rings. He said, "Okay." He said, "All right, I got the guy off the load. The load is yours. I'm sending it to you. Give me like 5 minutes." All right, cool. 5 minutes, boom. I see this text message. 10 minutes later, boom, the email. All right, we good. So I make sure I call to get my cash advance that had $273 exactly available for cash advance. So I said, all right, put that on my card. So, you know what I mean? I went to Lafayette, got my fuel, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm good to go. So I go to the pickup. I get there. It's in this small little town. It had tires. I was in the right spot. I pull up. The owner walked up to me. He said, "How can I help you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm here to get a load of tires going to Dallas." And then he had a blank freaking deer in the headlight look at me. And he was like, "That load already left." Come against a what? That load already left. I really said it like that. Come against a what? That load really left, sir. Who took it? And he said, "I don't know." He said the guy came in here. He said he wanted to get a load of tires going to Dallas, and we loaded him up, and he's gone. I said, "Well, do you have more than one load?" He said, "No." He was like, "Call your broker and see what's going on." He said, "I'll try to make some phone calls," but he asked if I could pull up out of the way because I was blocking his gate. So I pulled up, sat there. So I got there at 2. I got there at 2. So I sat there, I waited. I told the broker, I said, "We got a problem, man." He said, "What?" I said, "They said somebody loaded that load already and took off to Dallas." And he's like, "What the heck?" You know, blah, blah, blah. He said, "Let me call and check." He said it had to be the wrong load. So 5-10 minutes go by, he called me back. He said, "Yeah, somebody loaded the wrong trailer. He's supposed to be turning around and coming back, whatever." He said, "I'll get another freight bill for you, where the case is, so you can get loaded." So he said, just hang tight. I said, "All right, cool." 2 hours later, SpongeBob voice. SpongeBob announcer voice. I get out the truck. You know, I walk out, I say, "Hey, man, what's going on?" There's 3 workers there. You know, I don't see the boss, man. 3 workers there. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Yeah, I had a load going to Dallas. What happened?" He said, "Man, we loaded that this morning." I said, "You loaded that this morning?" He said, "Yeah." I said, was it a LandStar truck?" He said, "No, it wasn't a LandStar truck, but somebody did come and pick that load up this morning. I loaded it myself." He said, "I loaded myself." I said, "Well, where your boss at?" He said, "The boss went home." He said, "The boss went home like an hour ago." I said, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "I ain't gonna lie to you." I was like, so he gonna ask me to pull up, make some phone calls. He didn't say nothing to me, and then he had the nerve to hop into his car, drive right past me, and go home. He didn't say nothing. He said, "Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Don't make me lie to you, man. Don't make me lie to you." And I was like, "Wow, call your boss, man. See what's going on." So he called the boss. Same thing. Call your broker. Man, I called the broker. He didn't answer his phone. I said, "You know what? I'm gone. I am gone." Hop back in the truck. Got back to Dallas. I called him again. He didn't answer. About time I got to Texas, he finally sent me an email saying, "Oh, yeah, it's cool. Just keep on going." He said, "Yeah, I have to figure out what's going on with the load, or whatever the case is. I have to figure that out in the morning or Monday." He said, as far as the freight bill, he said, "I'm going to give you a freight bill that's called Truck Order Not Used, TONU. I never heard of that before. I think I heard of an orientation, but I never had that. So a quick explanation, truck order not used, I guess in this situation, like when loads canceled, it's supposed to be some kind of insurance, like a fee they pay to the driver for the load canceling. And when I got it, mind you, I had a cash advance. They gave me $150 after the cash advance. I had my fuel. I made it to Dallas. I had my reload Monday. But that's the first time that I ever had a load canceling me, and I'm pissed because I could have got to Dallas so much earlier than that had I not went to that reload. And two, the broker called me back to ask me if I wanted to do the load. I was just calling to check. I mean, if it was wide open, I mean, I would have booked it. But, you know, he called me back, and I'm thinking, like, okay, he's going to say he put it on me. He assigned it to me. We already had this fear of somebody else coming to get the loan. He assured that nobody else would. And it happened anyway. And he didn't even know about it. Like I said, it's Friday. A lot of places are closed. Like LandStar was even closed. Like when I called to get the fuel or trip advance, nobody answered the phone. I had to call after hours. You know what I'm saying? During the business hours. So nobody was answering their phone. So it was just like, what a heck of a day I had. But I know this is a long story, but I appreciate you sticking with it. But I thought I'd tell y'all this story about loads canceling. People ask me, hey, you know, people ask me, you know, they have loads canceling all the time. I've been at LandStar since February, and it is now July. This is the first time that ever happened, and it was a broker that called me, and the situation explained to me. I already had a fear that somebody else would go get that load, especially it wasn't a direct shipper load. It was a non-direct shipper. And that's exactly what happened. But hey, you know, things definitely does happen. I mean, I would never been in that situation if my wheel cover didn't dry rotted off the truck. Like, it's funny how this goes back. It can go back as far as how the week started. I mean, what I'm saying is plan accordingly, don't lollygag. I mean, if you have a problem getting out of your house to start your week, you might need to work on that. If you got a problem with time management, you definitely need to work on that. If you don't thoroughly look over your truck, like I wouldn't think a wheel cover would dry rot off the truck. That's something I wouldn't even think of to look at. You know, I'm more concerned about tires and, you know, air, any air leaks, oil leaks and stuff like that. Make sure all the lights work. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everything's filled up properly. Like, I wouldn't think something would dry rot off the truck. You know what I mean? It just stuff like that. And it happened Thursday, and I've been driving it since that Monday morning. So definitely that was definitely a heck of a ride right there, but I still was able to enjoy my weekend. You know, kept it safe, really didn't do much of anything. And I got my load out of there Monday, and I had a whole week this week, so it was all good. But I thought I'd share that story with y'all. Take from it what you will. Comment below if anything like this happened to you, you know what I mean? But other than that, y'all, be safe out there. Checking out.